Yo, what's going on, everybody? It's Wednesday night. It's 8:30, and it's your boys Mike and Mish with Mission Accomplished. What's up, Mike?
What's going on, buddy?
Just another day in the hood, dude. We got a really big show tonight. We got a promotion owner from the UK coming on. We got the fastest rising star in the BKFC who didn't even have to fight this weekend to make her star rise even more. And then we got a MMA veteran turned BKFC badass coming on after Taylor Starling. So let's get a shout out to our sponsors real quick and then get this show on the road. Of course, as always, we have the Fighter's Friend, thefightersfriend.com. Go there, use promo code MISH20 and buy yourself some Medibles and some medicated vapes and some CBD rubs and oils and all that shit to make yourself feel good and calm down at night. And then go to nextlevelsups.com/Mike and Mish. Use promo code MISH10. Buy yourself some supplements, buy yourself some testosterone boosters and get big and strong and get yourself laid. And then finally, go to Massage Therafix, talk to Jackie Holden and get yourself fixed after you go to the gym and beat yourself up. Jackie Holden is the best in the business. Go to www.holdenhandsmassage.com. If you are a veteran or a active military member, if you are a civilian, go ahead and use www.massagetherafix.com and make yourself an appointment through there and go see Jackie. With that said, Mike, let's go ahead and bring our first guest of the evening on. His name is Christian Roberts. He is the owner, the man that drives the train for the baddest pit fighting company in the UK, Spartan Bare Knuckle Fight Club. Let's bring him right on. What's going on, sir? How are you?
How are you doing, guys?
Doing great. How are you?
Yeah, all good this end, my friend.
Bright and early.
1:30 a.m.
1:30 a.m. over there?
But anything for our colonial cousin.
All right,
Thank you.
Let's just go ahead and introduce you to our American crowd over here. And this is Christian Roberts. He started, how many years ago did you start this? Tell us a little bit about Spartan Bare Knuckle Fight Club. And you got to describe it a little bit for us because it's incredible. And I'm not quite sure our audience is familiar with it. So go ahead, sir.
Yeah, man. Well, we started about 5 years ago. You know, I was watching the news and there was more and more children stabbing each other and, you know, and young men. And, you know, and I thought there's got to be a better way than this. So, you know, we invented Spartan. Its original concept was kind of come out with a peace treaty, which was saying, you know, don't attend the funeral, attend the gym. You know, don't go to jail, get paid. You know, let's jump in the pit, put the knives down and fight like men. You know, if we can stop one parent burying a child or you know, any child, then, you know, whether that's a young man in his 20s, 30s or in the teens, it's still someone's child, you know. And we just thought about that and putting the weapons down, and it started growing, and it, you know, and we started getting, you know, a better caliber of athlete rather than just people who were settling beefs. And yeah, here we are today, man. And we've grown. We've got another card in November. You know, all our fights are carried out in an 8-foot by 8-foot hay bale arena. So there's nowhere to go in the pit. You know, it really is one of the most brutal forms of BKB out there today.
So Christian, when it first started, it was exactly what you said. It was a fight club. It was someplace like, you know, as a matter of fact, when I went to basic training Tuesday nights in our barracks, we would have fight club every Tuesday night when the drill sergeants went home. When the drill sergeants went home, everybody and the lights went out, everybody would break out their little L-shaped flashlights and everybody would get in the middle of the barracks. And if anybody had anybody to call any beef with anyone, they called them out, they fought in the middle of the barracks, and then the fucking beef was over and we move on to the next day. So it's sort of the same thing, but it has moved on to become like a sanctioned professional company, right?
Yeah, man. I mean, we started out in fields at the beginning, and you know, then we were in 4-star hotels, and you know, and we're just finding our feet again after COVID. You know, I think it played with everybody, hasn't it? And you know, it's such a bad thing, but you know, here we are. We're back again after that now. Like you say, yeah, we started out as we always wanted to be a fight club, and we always wanted to have a good caliber of fighters. But you know, it was more about getting the message out of putting the weapons down at first. But now, like you say, it's evolved. We've got our own governing body now, which is the WPFA, which is the World Pit Fighting Association. You know, and we're starting to get. We flew guys in from Italy that have fought on the show. You know, so it's getting bigger and bigger now. And you know, like I say, it's a safe level of combat sport in my eyes. There's no combat sport that's safe, but I mean, as damage goes in an 8-foot pit, you know, one of you are going to land really quick, and the damage accumulates pretty quick too. So it's stopped pretty quick, but.
And it's also a way to make a little money and put a little money into these guys' pockets that may have been fighting in the streets because they weren't working or whatever. You know what I mean? It gives them opportunity for employment as well. Put some money in their pocket, food on the table.
Lives here. I mean, you know, you can go on my wall on Facebook, and you know, there's no shortage of people that are saying, you know, you've changed my life and you've done this. They've done it for themselves. We've just showed them the door. You know, they've got to. You know, they want to make something of themselves. It's a tough sport, man, fighting. It's so tough. You know, watch you guys out there, and shout out to Mike Vasquez and the crew over at BYB. You know, like Mike, really good guy. Shout out to David Feldman. You know, we have a sketchy relationship, but you know, he's listen. You can't knock what he's done there. He's grown it into one of the biggest. He's the biggest company out there in the world right now for me. So you know that's a ring, BKB, and you know what he's done with it. You cannot shake a leaf at. You know, and the same with, you know, although I don't get on with Jim and Joe over at BKB in London, again, you can't knock what they've done. They've turned the business into a really big empire over here, and you know, I believe they're going to be branching out to America soon as well. So yeah, listen, it's all good for BKB as long as we can. You know, bare knuckle fighting's different to BKB, but as long as the sports are getting acknowledgement and, you know, the fans are loving it, then long live the sport, and the more it grows, it's better for everybody.
Right. So bringing up David Feldman, you've been working with a gentleman named Mark Godbeer, who I think a bunch of people in the States do know, and we're eager to see him fight, you know, but we haven't been able to. So what role does Mark play in your company, and is he going to be fighting? Is he just behind the scenes? Like what's his role there in Spartan BK?
Okay, so Mark's come on board to run a branch of Spartan, and when he come on board, he was well aware that we do the hay bales, and he wanted to roll with a ring. And you know, Mark's vastly experienced all over the world, you know, and he's one of the, still in my eyes, he might have a different attitude, but I think he smokes Joey Beltran in one round, and anybody who connected to him as well. Listen, he's a dangerous dude, man. There's a reason why they don't want him to fight there. That's all I'll say on that. But yeah, his role's going to be, he's running the ring. He's going to run a ring company. It's going to be straight up boxing rules, but bare knuckle, of course. Yeah, we're just going to give it a go and see where we go with it. We're going to have our first show in February now. I know Mark's got some fights and some fight news coming soon, very big fight news. So, you know, I'll leave that to him because that's his bag. You know, he's the dude. Sure. But yeah, I know he's got some big fight news coming. So, and who knows? Never say never. You know, about fighting on our show. I'm sure if we can raid our piggy bank and pay him enough, he'll come and fight for us.
Now, when you say that he's going to have his own branch and you guys are going to have a show in February, will the show in February have a hay bale pit as well as a ring, or will it be two separate shows?
It'll be a boxing ring.
Okay.
It will be ring BKB, and we're going to be putting on top quality shows with top quality athletes, to be fair. We're looking for a really high standard. Yeah, that's all I can say at the moment. I mean, we've got everything in place now, ready. So, yeah, man. But I think with Mark, and I'm sure he'll agree if you speak to him as well, that we're not looking to run before we can walk. You know, like ones before us, like Ragnarok, who failed famously. You know, trying to run before you can walk, it's not very good. So we're just going to take it one show at a time. Going to put on good quality shows, and we'll grow it from there and see where we go with it.
Yeah, Ragnarok is the affliction of the bare knuckle world, right?
Yeah,
the affliction show that they had 2 shows and then bankrupt. It was a big
they
disaster.
didn't have any shows. That was the thing.
Yeah, they
I was supposed to be
before
there
they
for a
even
show.
started. Yeah. So when he says, and I know this because I saw Mark talk in another interview. For those who were watching in the audience here, when he says bare knuckle, it'll be like regular boxing rules, but bare knuckle, which is different from like bare knuckle FC, which you could tie plum and punch in the clinch. They'll be breaking up the clinch, right?
We will be sitting down in the near future because I'm a fan of the clinch. But I think Mark wants to keep it straight boxing and clean. So, I'm a big fan of the clinch induces more excitement. As long as it's an active clinch and you're both hitting, then it's decent. Becomes a bit boring when you're hugging it out. But I don't know. Mark wants to keep it clean, but we'll sit down and we'll speak about that. But yeah, that's the way it is in the UK. I mean, us as a company in the hay bales, we allow the clinch. We support it as long as both fighters are active in the clinch, or at least one of the fighters is active and letting something go. We'll let the fight continue. But the minute it just becomes, leverage, then we break it up.
What about the count? How does the count work in Spartan?
If you get dropped in the hay bales, you get a 20-second count, or a standing 18 as you would, and the referee will decide, whether you're in a fit position to go on, or you've got to prove to the referee you're in a fit position to go on. The referee that we use is Tony Quigley, former super middleweight champion of Britain, long-standing sparring partner of Joe Calzaghe, Chris Eubank, Nigel Benn, all the rest of them. He's been around the block. So we feel it's important that you have a referee in the middle that's actually lived the life. So, as you well know yourself, guys, and, the last person to know the beat is the fighter.
Right.
So, we've got to have someone in there competent that can see them early signs. And we feel that's vitally important within, any combat sport, really.
When you were putting this whole thing together, like you said, you started off in the fields, and then as it got bigger, and I know that you started with like small crowds, and the crowd started getting bigger and bigger. When you went and get it sanctioned with an actual commission, what were the biggest, what was the biggest opposition to you actually getting a venue and actually putting on a sanctioned show with a pit the way you do it?
I think that at the beginning, the biggest stumbling block is the fear of the unknown. So, many of the places we've applied for licenses in the UK haven't witnessed bare knuckle boxing before, or bare knuckle pit fighting. So it was kind of the fear of the unknown. And then we'd been turned down. The first 2 shows we were turned down for a license by the local police and councils. I don't want to put too much finer light on it, but I remember the second show I had a chat with the chief inspector, who told me he could give me a license on the Monday, and on the Friday before the show on the Saturday, he told me he couldn't give me a license. So he said he feared that there'd be trouble and there was people watching violence and, blah, 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 and it'd get out of hand. So I told him on the phone I was going to go ahead and have the show and not tell him where it was. And I was going to prove to him that we can have a show with no police assistance and there'd be no trouble anyway. So I think that was the first time we got like about 450, 500 people to that show.
Wow.
And yeah, man, everyone watched it, loved it, and was raving about it all over Facebook the next week. So the police kind of invited me in and said, well, we'd rather know where you are than, not know where you are and doing it. So
parts unknown.
They give us a license for Bradford in the UK, and we had our first show legally in Bradford. And, we're on Spartan 7 next time round. So we're doing okay now. We're growing really good. I think the last show that we did at Cedar Court, that filled up with 800 people. The bigger the arena, I believe, and I'm convinced we will fill it. The style of fighting that we bring is just, it's crazy, man. If you've seen it on YouTube, it's nothing short of crazy. It's stand toe to toe, and as soon as that bell goes, you've just got to let your fists do the talking.
We do have a small clip here that I'll bring up right now. little bit of highlights.
Yeah, there's no playing in there, you know.
You know what it is? When I first saw this, I thought the movie Snatch. You ever see Snatch?
Yeah.
That's what I was thinking. I was like, man, this is more like Snatch than actual bare knuckle boxing. And like you said, this is not bare knuckle boxing. This is pit fighting. This is two dudes in a fucking 8-foot circle surrounded by hay bales slugging it out. It's freaking unbelievable.
Yeah, I think, you know, I was asked a short while ago the difference between bare knuckle boxing and bare knuckle pit fighting, and I think the easiest way to describe it would be with bare knuckle boxing, it's all about your skills, your footwork, your head movement, you know, your timing. You in the pit, it's just about how hard can you be hit and still be there? How hard can you hit? You know, it's about who's got the best chin and who's got, you know, that's what it's all about with us. It's just about brawn rather than skills.
Yeah, it's definitely a brawl face to face. Kyle and I were talking. What do you think would happen if we tried to run a pit fighting league here in America? You think they'd be okay with that shit?
Never.
We're coming there soon, don't you worry.
Yeah, I hope you do. I was just telling him, man, it's like the way the United States is, you know, when MMA first came around, they didn't even want MMA around. They were calling that human cockfighting.
Oh,
and
yeah.
then in 2018, when Feldman got bare knuckle legalized in the United States, everybody's up in arms. Fucking, there's no way this shouldn't be a legal sport. This is human cockfighting again. They brought back the same term that they talked about with MMA 30 years earlier, and then the death of Justin Thornton the other day didn't help at all. But
to add insult to injury.
Yeah, to add insult to injury. But when you look
Dana
into it,
White is talking shit about.
Yeah, there's more death in pro boxing and MMA than there has been in bare knuckles. So, you know what I mean? For this to come over here, I seriously hope you can pull that off, because it'll be a tough task for you, sir.
Listen, mate, I'm pretty confident that let's say it would suit a certain style of place. It would suit a certain. It wouldn't, you know. We don't see David Feldman in Vegas, and you certainly wouldn't see me in Vegas, you know. But Texas and places like that, I reckon they love a good old brawl.
I guess what it really just comes down to is safety and like statistics and like statistical information that can prove that your sport is no more dangerous than any other combat sport and can generate money for the masses just like any other combat sport. So it's a job, it's a sport. So let it fucking go.
I mean, I don't know how you guys feel. I mean, the guy you just mentioned before, I've been following a little bit about it. The guy who lost his life.
Yep.
Yes.
Justin Thornton.
Yeah. So rest in peace, Mr. Thornton, and, you know, thoughts to his family and stuff, you know, and
right.
You know, but with thoughts of being dangerous with sports and stuff, you know, MMA's got to be the most dangerous out there, right?
I mean, you're getting kicked across the face and kneed in the face. I feel like that's a pretty crazy compared to a fist hitting you.
You can elbow them. I mean, an elbow is far worse than a fist. You can knee them. You can soccer kick them. You know, with BKB or pit fighting rather, you know, it's just fists. And like we say, the damage accumulates a lot quicker in bare knuckle than it does in gloved. With gloved, you're taking a prolonged beating over 36 minutes with a glove on it. It's going to cause problems, you know. With the bare knuckle, you catch one, maybe two punches and your eyes wide open, then you've got to consider stopping that fight. So damage limitation, I guess. But yeah, I don't believe pit fighting's any more dangerous than MMA.
You know, now let me ask you, what is your background? Did you come from bare knuckle fighting? Were you
gloved fighter, and I started getting into the bare knuckles, started watching shows years back, and, you know, really enjoyed them, and then come on the market with CMS Promotions first.
Yeah.
And that was a ring BKB company back in the day. But my business partner passed away at 30 years old. So kind of went out the scene for a while, and when I come back, I looked at the market. I could see all the ring companies buying for top spot. You know, got to be realistic. You're not going to get a bigger company than BKFC.
Right.
You're not going to get bigger companies than probably Valor when they run right and they're running shows again. I believe they're going to be starting them soon. I'm not sure if that's true. Big companies like that are going to take the top spot. You're never going to be as big as that. So why piss in the same pool? So I thought we'll go with the hay bales. I've seen them in the UK before, but they were 20 foot by 20 foot. And I just half the distance, man. Just made it like eight and a bit foot by 8 and a bit foot. And that induces knockouts, man. If you come to one of my shows, a Spartan show, or we'll be pay-per-view in the new year, so anybody in America can watch it too. We're bringing our app out. So you watch one of my shows, there's 20 fights on the show. I'll bet you 18 end of them end as bad as you want them to.
Now, do you have women fight in Spartan as well?
No, we have had one women's fight, but we find it quite hard to match the women over here. There's not as many as there is over in America.
Yeah.
So it's just men at the moment, but I'm not adverse to it if two women want to get in. I mean, it's hard to find two women that want to fight, but then it's hard to find two women that want to fight with no gloves. But then it's even harder to find two women who want to fight with no gloves in an 8-foot hay bale square,
I've seen it in what's that? Is it called Top Dog?
They're brilliant.
Yeah, I've seen some there.
They've got a big wide open space with theirs though, and they can dance around a little bit,
They do the tuxedos and all that.
Yeah, I was gonna say, what I like a little bit about yours and theirs. I kind of like the way they do that with the small setting and the tuxedos and everything. It looks like a scene out of Lionheart, like the fucking Van Damme movie. But then yours, there's like a chandelier over the damn thing. There's like lights flashing. People are dancing their way out there. So it's more of a party atmosphere at a Spartan show. So, I mean, honestly, I think it would be a little more rowdy over there. And then you'd be all with the snobs over there at the Russia show.
Yeah, we take all kinds, Some of the fighters we've got on ours are real life killers, man. I mean, Robbie Adamson gave an interview before one of his fights. It was 2 hours before his fight. I never seen the interview. I remember watching his fight and thinking, God, how good's the other guy? He's battering Robbie, But little did we know Robbie gave an interview 2 hours before the fight and told the guy that was interviewing him that he was going to give the guy 30 seconds to knock him out without hitting him back. and then when the 30 seconds were up, his trainer was going to blow a whistle in the crowd and he'd knock him out. And that's exactly what he did.
Wow.
Jesus.
Can we see this on YouTube or something? Is this out there?
On YouTube somewhere, mate. Yeah, it's Kyle Stonker Allen and Robbie Adamson. It's really weird, man, the way he predicts it and does it as well. Spot on 30 seconds too.
Now, Christian, where'd you get the Knuckle Governor nickname from?
I don't know. It was an old friend of mine called Jason Marsh, who's our media guy.
Yeah.
And he took a picture of me screaming at one of the fighters in the pit at one of the shows about not being a gentleman after the fight. He wouldn't shake hands and that. So I leant over the pit and kind of give him a bit of a roar in his ear and that. And I think Jason caught the picture and he wrote under it, "Don't fuck with the Knuckle Governor." So I kind of stuck from there, really.
Yeah, that's a great nickname. And one more question from me. I saw you on now when I got into bare knuckle, I started like researching it and I knew about the documentary Knuckle with James Quinn McDonough and the Irish, the Travelers. I saw a picture of you with James Quinn McDonough. Are you friends with him? Do you have a relationship with him? And does he ever make his way down any of your shows? He's a bare knuckle legend,
Yeah, James is a really good friend of mine. In fact, a quick story for you is when I left BKB with CMS when my business partner died and that, it was actually James that come and met me in where I live up here in Cheshire, and he travelled down on the train from Milton Keynes, a good few hours down, and he come and met me and we went and had some dinner and that, and he said, why don't you come back to the sport? You're a character, people miss you, and blah, blah, blah. I wasn't really sure, and he kept in touch, and, he kept on at me, and in the end, so I decided to build Spartan. I keep in touch with James. He's a really good friend. He was meant to referee one of my shows, but he couldn't make it. But yeah, me and James are good friends. He used to come to my social club, and, we'd have a good chat there, and yeah, he's a good man, James, and he's a very, very big name and legend in the sport of BKB.
Yeah, if anybody's never seen the documentary, it's called Knuckle, and it's it's an eye opener to the world of like gypsy bare knuckle boxing. It's fucking insane.
I mean, I did want to briefly touch on as well that I wanted to give a shout out to a guy within my company called Darren Wilson. Now, Darren's created a company within our company called SAFE, and the SAFE stands for Safeguarding All Fighters' Eventualities, which is a service run by Darren for the fans and the fighters. And if they've got any problems out the pit, you know, they've got mental health issues, they got illness, they got problems finding a home or anything like that. But you know, this guy's there 24/7. We think we're unique. We're the first people to do it. And it's proven really successful, you know, helping people with, you know, demons and, you know, addiction and other stuff. And I just wanted to shout him out because I think it's a really good thing he does for fighters and fans, not just fighters, fans as well of Spartan, you know. And yeah, it's really good, man. You should look it up.
Yeah, we'll check that out. That sounds awesome, man. You know, it seems like what you're doing over there is really opening up opportunities for a lot of people that didn't have the opportunities before. And also, like you just said, a lot of the people that find themselves fighting and stabbing in the streets that are now fighting in pits and getting paid by you, you now have this other thing here to take care of them on the outside mentally. So that's freaking outstanding, man.
You've got to give them something to you know, some of these people have nothing.
You need an outlet.
So to earn some money, and you know, everyone has their own reasons for doing it, man. But make no mistake, everybody who climbs into that arena, any arena, whether it be Feldman's arena, my arena, Joe Brown's arena, anybody's arena, it doesn't matter who they get. They've all got issues. Everyone, all of us have got issues, you know, but everybody chooses to deal with them in a different way. I'm just happy that what we're doing with Spartan is really helping people, you know. It didn't just set out to be that way. It set out to be a fight club, but I get a lot more achievement feeling that I'm helping people stay out of jail, stay off drugs, you know, and do things like that. It's a massive plus, man. And if we can stop people, make them put the knives down and fight like men and leave with their lives intact and a bit of respect, you know, then long may it live, you know.
It's a noble thing you're doing.
Hell yeah,
I
man.
love it.
Will we see you step into the pit in your own company at some point?
Yeah, I'm going to knock Brandon Lambert fucking spark out first time I see him.
Really?
He's a bitch. He's calling Tyler Goodjohn out, and then he's calling me out. Now it's Tyler again. Tell him to get 20 grand and put it up, and Tyler will face him on my show or on Mark's show.
Okay. We will
do that
to Brandon.
We can do that.
I do actually like Brandon. He's all right. He's just a pain in the prick.
Yes,
and then you fight it out and then have some respect for each other afterwards, like you said. There you go.
Yeah. Well, he's been calling out Tyler. To be honest with you, he's been calling out anybody he can call out. And anyone
with
a keyboard or a mouth.
Yeah. I spoke to Tyler today about it on Facebook.
Would Tyler fight him?
Listen, if he gets 20 grand, I'm sure Tyler will bother his ass to get out of bed, smack him up, and take his money. Listen, it's a done deal. If he gets 20 grand sterling English, then he can come and get served up. No problem at all.
Outstanding. We'll
okay.
pass that along.
You all seen his first fight, yeah?
What's that? We all saw his first fight. Yes, he
had some very good fucking fight, by the way. And then you all seen Tyler go the distance with Palomino, yeah?
Absolutely.
Yep.
Yeah. Are you thinking the same as me and seeing dancing Africans with a coffin?
Yeah, I don't think there's a lot of guys out there that could have lasted 5 rounds other than Tyler and a one or two others. And I don't think no offense to Brandon, I don't think he would have went 5 rounds with Luis Palomino. I'm just gonna throw that right out there.
He wouldn't have fucking turned up, the faggot. he'd have stayed at home, mate. Well, I actually put it on there on an argument with him one day about, do you think you'd have gone the 5 rounds? He said, no, Palomino would kill me stone dead. Well, what makes you think you'd go 5 rounds with Tyler then?
Yeah, well, he talks a lot. I mean,
he does.
Tyler's a legit killer, man.
Tyler looks like the type of guy that likes to be like beat up. You know what I mean? Like the more he gets hit, the more he wants to fight. You know, like he just keeps coming forward. He gets punched in the face a few times. He's like, all right, let's do this. Like, I love it. He looks like a guy who loves it.
Now see the complete contrast. Brandon gets hit and goes to sleep.
All right, we're going to set this up. We're going to talk to Brandon. We're going to get him and his 20 grand to meet you guys over at your place in the pit. And you guys can sell it for pay-per-view in America for $49.99. Sell the shit
Just
out of
looking
it.
at how that sounds, we'll equip him with 20,000 and send him to England. That's not going to end well for him, is it?
I think it's a
I will
mismatch.
say though,
It's a
I do like
mismatch.
Brandon. He's all right.
it's
He
a
is all right, Brandon. He just kind of talks a lot of smack. And you could understand it if he was coming off the back of a straight one-punch knockout or something that he's absolutely murdered the kid, but he didn't really shine in his fight. But that's listen, anybody, and I mean anybody, even Brandon Lambert, if you're watching, you have my respect, dude, for even climbing in.
Absolutely. It takes a different breed to get in there and actually sling them. With that said, we'll give you give you a minute to tell us when your next show is going to be, how we're going to be able to see it, and shout out whoever you want to shout out.
Okay. The next show is Manchester, England on 20th of November. That's Fight Fest 2. And then the next show after that will be the end of January, and that will be the start of our pay-per-view events, which will be available by next summer. We'll have the app out, so we'll be in touch with you, and people will be able to access the app anyway. And a massive shout to Scott West Shellfish, Ecotech Systems, and everyone else who sponsors us. I can't remember them all. I've been punched a lot, but there's a lot of them, and we owe you all. You're brilliant. And most of all, the fans and fighters. Without them, Spartan wouldn't be the big white elephant in the room that it is at the moment.
Absolutely. And the one on November 20th can be seen on YouTube. Is that?
Yeah, be seen on YouTube or find us on Facebook, Spartan Bare Knuckle Fight Club, on YouTube, Instagram, TikTok. Find us on all the platforms. We're all there.
All right, man. Thank you very much for coming on here. Thanks for opening our eyes up to a new bare knuckle sport. I would call it its own sport, pit fighting. And come back on when we get a little closer to the show. Maybe you can come back on, tell us about some of the fighters that are going to be on.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. No problem at all. Thanks for having us on, guys.
All right,
absolutely.
Thank you.
Thanks for getting up at 1:30 in the morning.
All right. See you, Christian. Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
All right.
Later.
All right. The real life fight club, my friend, in a hay bale pit in the middle of the field in fucking England.
Yep.
With a bunch of scousers that want to slap and fucking stab each other. All right, but we got somebody. I got a female that would fight in a fucking hay bale pit if I ever imagined.
I'm willing to bet. Yes.
I'd be willing to bet if we can get a little 8x8 hay bale pit in the middle of a field somewhere. She could find someone. Her name is Taylor Starling. She did not fight last weekend, but everybody wanted to see her, and she's going to tell us all about her right now. Here she is, the Killa Bee. What is going on?
Hey guys, what's going on? I feel like it hasn't been that long since I talked to you guys last.
Yeah.
Well, if my brain worked better, I'd be able to tell you when that was, but
it wasn't that long ago.
It wasn't.
It wasn't that long ago, but you fought not too long ago, so maybe it was.
And here we are, and went through a whole nother fight camp. Ooh,
Yeah, how'd that go?
It was great. It was that's why it was such a disappointment to not get to fight, because I really, worked so hard, pushed myself, went through an awesome camp. I feel like I've been in a perpetual fight camp for the past year. So for that not to happen just sucked. But it's one of those things, it's a part of the game, and I've been in the game for a while, and you would think that when you've experienced something like that before, it gets easier, but it doesn't. It still feels like the first time, anytime that's ever happened to me.
I got to tell you, you looked great when you stepped on the scale and you threw the double gun show up, and you looked very strong, very fit, ready to rock. You got up there, you did the old right in her face thing, and I got to be honest, she didn't look all too excited to even be there at all.
No, she wasn't. I think I maybe heard her say one word the entire weekend. Which
is funny, because she was on our show like 2 weeks before.
Mm-hmm. Fucking going in, talking about how I had pressure chatty on me, how I should be how she was ready to come because she ain't got no pressure on her. And I watched parts of it, and then she
Yeah.
started talking about Oreos, and that's when I tuned out.
I can get out of here.
Yeah. I wish I
Oreo
could
talk.
be eating Oreos. Like you fucking were eating Oreos, obviously.
I thought she was ready to get in there. I mean, it seemed as though she was ready, right? I mean, I was excited to see the fight.
It's one of those things where and this is just me speaking like how I feel. Of course, I have some like ill feelings about it, and a lot of people have got on to me about like letting it go, and I don't know what she's going through, but at the same time, to me, it just came off very much so as if she didn't want to fight, and she did everything leading up to it that she possibly could to make it not happen without just simply pulling out. I mean, her track record, she's pulled out of fights. She pulled out of a fight with Audra. She pulled out of a fight with Crystal. She pulled out of a fight with one other person. I can't think of who it was. Maybe it was Jade or Jade, however you say her name.
Oh, you know what?
She pulled out of like 3 different fights. And then with me, with this fight, the agreement, when they first offered it to her, she said no. And then she came back and was like, okay, yes. So to me, I don't think she wanted to fight to begin with, but I think she just kind of got to a point where she was like, I can't really just be like, no, I don't want to. I think she thought she could like save her own ass by not making weight and making it seem more legitimate. But I mean, come on.
I mean, we all saw it, but and we understand that. Like, but for those who don't know that are tuning in here, this girl weighed in 8 pounds over. And explain to me how in every other event that I've ever even heard of, I've never heard of them giving a person to the next day to weigh in again. Is this like unheard of?
It's like, and not only did she weigh 8 pounds over the first day, she weighed another 8 pounds after the 24 hours that they gave her to cut extra weight. So altogether, grand total, 16 pounds overweight.
But like what I'm saying is, what commission, like what was different about the commission out there in Montana that where they were like, okay, you know what? Fuck the 3 hours that we give everybody else or whatever. We're going to give you till tomorrow. Did they have to ask you if you were okay with that? Or was that just something that they said they're going to do?
They were I mean, it was the first bare knuckle show in Montana. So of course the commission it was a little difficult because I don't think that they I don't want to say they didn't have a commission because the commission was there. We had everybody there, but I think it was people coming from out of state. I think it was people working as a commission and trying to get the show tied together and everything like that. And they had a commission. It just wasn't like, each state has its own commission. I think they had to like bring people in that understood bare knuckle and the rules and regulations of bare knuckle. Anyways, what had happened was we weigh in. She's overweight. I see her. She gets off the scale and the commission says, absolutely not. At first, here, I'm getting all mixed up. She gets on the scale, is in 133. I just already weighed in. I was 124. I see her, and she's like, hey, I'm overweight, and would you take 10% of my purse? And I said, well, how much overweight were you? She says 133. And it instantly just, like, pissed me off. And I was like, of course I'll take your fucking money and still beat you up. And the commission was like, well, hold on now. Like, we have to make sure, like, that's okay because 8 pounds is a lot and most commissions won't okay it. So they wanted to get clarification first all around and make sure that like what the rules and regulations were before they were just like, yeah, you can take 10% of her purse and the fight can still happen. They wanted to make sure everything was clear all around. But before they even okayed it or said, yes, the fight can still happen, you're good to go, Randine just starts fucking chugging Pedialyte. And I'm like, you're 8 pounds over, and they haven't even, like, for sure said, because what people don't realize is, like, I think people just think that you can say, yes, I want to fight you, and it's going to happen because I say yes. It doesn't work that way. The commission, because of, like, health and weight classes and all of that stuff, it all has to be within you have to be so close, or the commission will just say no altogether, and they won't let you, no matter how bad I want to fight her. Trust me.
Right.
She weighed 141. And I still wanted to fight her. Yeah. And they were just like, absolutely not is that going to happen. But she starts chugging Pedialyte. I ripped her a new one. And I'm like, you still have weight to lose. So she attempts to go cut more weight and leaves. My team was trying to help her. They were like, please, like, we all worked hard to be here. Let us help you cut weight. We're all professional athletes. We all know how to help you. We can make sure you get, all she had to do was lose like 2 pounds, 1 to 2 pounds. And then we could have like swung something. But she refused their help. She didn't want to let my team help her. Nobody didn't want anybody to help her. And they were like, okay, you're going to come back at 4 and weigh. And she came back. She was hobbling around, struggling, and did her physical and didn't pass. And so the doctor, of course, was like, I can't even like have her reweigh in. She's just like in really bad shape. So they were like, this is what we're going to do. You need to drink a little bit of something. See if it makes you feel a little bit better. And we can try to maybe redo your physical. Maybe we can make something happen. We need to like figure it out, see what we can do, and see what we can try to work out. And following day after weigh-ins, they gave her a physical. I was there when she did her physical the second time, and I just like sat and watched her like a hawk. She did her physical perfectly fine, and they called and they still took some time to say like, we don't know if we want to let you reweigh or not. It's 20, like we're pushing it like way too far. And anyways, they still let us reweigh. I put on some weight. I went and drank, hydrated, put my hoodie on, got on the scale, and I was 136, and she was 141.
Jesus.
So she went from 133 to 141. It didn't even try. And apparently she had weighed herself the first thing that morning. It was 140 and then went to 141. So she was just like, it to me came off just very much so like purposely putting on weight. And I was like, well, I'm 136 now and she's 141. So we can make it happen. Like just go up a weight class. I'm fine. But I think they were kind of to the point where like we did a little too much. And we can't make it happen because, with what just happened recently in Bare Knuckle and the death and everything, like they really didn't want anything to happen. And they were being very like cautious about everything. They didn't want to take any chances, no matter how much I said yes. But to me, if you ask me the end all be all, Randine just didn't want to fight. And
I was just going to ask you if she weighed in at 141 and they turned to you and asked you if you still wanted to fight and you said yes, do you think she still would have fought you?
No.
Because it doesn't sound like she wanted to be there at all.
No.
I wonder what the hell was going on in her life.
I was off. Like she was like, yes. Like,
oh, God.
And I this is just he said, she said, but Crystal Pittman was also in the room like we were doing our physical, but I had left because I was trying to like chug water and like eat as much as I could before I got on the scale to try to be like as close to weight as Randine was. Crystal Pittman said, man, she was taking her pregnancy test. So I asked her like, oh, you're going to fight? And apparently Randine said something along like, I'm going to pretend that I am, or I'm just going to act like I'm going to. And it's like, what the fuck?
She's just going to go through the motions.
Is that when you lost your mind? I heard you got pretty upset. You got a little out of character. You got mad. I just, there's a lot of people around, and someone, more than one person was saying like, hey, Taylor, I've never seen her like that before, but hey, I understand. You were probably really fucking mad.
I probably went a good solid nuts about twice, and it was in front of everybody. And it was just like, I'm one of those people, like, I'm sweet as can be. Like Randine, like, if it was real, like just something to me, just I could feel it in her. She was very smug and like had this attitude about it. Like it was like I was being a bitch. And I'm like, I worked my ass off, spent thousands of dollars, brought my team out here, trained. I've done everything. And you're just like, don't give a fuck. What? Like, so she disrespected me. And it was almost to the point where she just kind of had this smug rudeness about her anytime that she was in the room with me. And so to see her come and I'm like doing my physical thinking that I'm going to fight. And this bitch walks in drinking a gallon of fucking Pedialyte. Oh, of course I'm going to go off. I said, what are you doing? Like, what? So I went off on her then. And then when she weighed 141, I really tried to hold it together. But when they said the words like the fight's off, I had a whole 24 hours of just being like yanked around like this. Like, it's going to happen. It's not going to happen. It's going to happen. It's not going to happen. It's going to happen. So, of course, I'm already emotional. I'm about to fight.
Right.
And then to hear like it's off. So I'm like, okay, it's off. And then a second later be like, you're fighting tomorrow. Oh, okay, the fight's back on. I'm good. I'm like, that was very emotional. And then to just see her like take it as a joke. And then finally when they just said the words, it's off. And like I seen her in the room and the way she just like looked and her smug ass attitude just set me off. And I'm not like that. I love everyone. I'm so happy and so kind all the time. And just that was a very emotional weekend for me. And to like see her just not give a fuck is what set me
I can
off.
just imagine.
What time of the day did they make the final decision on Saturday?
I remember the first thing they said to me was like, we're going to give her a physical at 9 a.m. But I remember it was later because I did my pregnancy test around 10 and I was still like, well, what's going to happen? I should know by now. And it was 10 that I did my pregnancy test. And when I came out of the room from doing my pregnancy test, she was walking in to do her physical. And so I sat there and I watched her do her physical. So it was like 10 in the morning. And then I waited about another hour. So probably like 11 o'clock.
Jeez.
Like 11 o'clock is when I found out, like, no, it's not happening.
Jesus. How do you decompress from that?
Yeah,
I'm still like, and I'm trying to just like, I'm decompressed from it. I'm over it. It's happened. It's gone. But like, it's been so just like hard because, you know, when you build up to a fight, it's like this big emotional buildup and you're working so hard and shit sucks and you're ready for that moment where everything you do pays off. And it's almost like blue balls. Right. That's what I'm going to call it, like blue balls of fighting. Like,
she got combat blue balls.
I'm ready to go. Doesn't happen. I get on a plane and come home and it's just like, it feels like I'm just very deflated about it. Like,
yeah, but listen, when I don't know if there's a female version of blue balls, but when we get blue, like we can go take care of that. You can't just go kick
go fight somebody.
Yeah, you can't walk outside and just fuck someone up real quick to get your, you know, to get
throw somebody right out of the gate going to the.
You know, hey, DJ Tony sent us a video. DJ Tony sent us a video of a SWAT team outside the hotel, like taking a body and putting the body in.
Was that you who took out those
when
people?
He first sent it, we were like, fucking Starling killed her.
No, but it was crazy because like Montana, the people were so friendly and so nice, and it was such a beautiful town. But there were some like sketchy ass, scary ass people downtown. It was like both sides of the spectrum in one place.
Yeah, DJ Tony's crazy, man. He was like behind a pillar.
Yeah.
Like filming
behind a SWAT guy.
Behind the SWAT team. The SWAT team was like 15 feet in front of him. And he's like
2:30 in the morning.
2:30 in the
Mountain time.
Yeah. That's so funny. And you know what's crazy is we were walking around downtown and found bullet casings on the ground.
Oh my God.
And then like an hour later, DJ Tony's like, yeah, someone got murdered. And I was like, no way, we found bullet casings. Maybe this is all like
oh my Lord.
Jesus, Billings,
that's a wild
Montana.
scene.
I would have never known. Like I thought Montana was all buffalo and horses.
No, it's bare knuckle fighting, SWAT teams, and murder. It's fun.
Yeah. Gangster. You wouldn't think Billings is a gangster like that.
Hell no.
It's crazy. So would you say, and I know you didn't fight and you're super disappointed about that and whatnot, but your like star in the company like even grew even more. Like you were almost the biggest story of the weekend.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody saw you everywhere. You're ringside. You're commentating. You're the talk of the town. And then like I happened to notice there was like a still shot of Christine Faria in the ring throwing a punch, and you're in the background leaned over. I have the picture. But
I gotta see this.
If you zoom like way in, I'll send it to Mike right now. We'll bring it up. If you zoom into the background, you're like ultra focused. David Feldman's like in your ear talking, but like your eyes are like locked on. What the fuck's going on? And I was like, look at her there. Look at her there wanting to fucking get in there.
And you know, it's crazy because like I can say like me and Christine actually get along really well. And
sure.
Both of my fights, Christine's been at both of my fights ringside. So it was like the tables were turned, and I have a lot of respect for Christine, but I'm not scared of Christine. So I was like, I went up to her after the fight. I said, all right, let's go. Like, let's go. To watch her fight live, like, it was really cool. I have a lot of respect for her, but also I'm not scared. So it's like, it was cool. We just had like a moment, and like she's been there at both of my fights, and I finally got to see her fight live, and like we like dapped up and hugged, and we were like, let's go. We got in each other's face. I don't know if anybody we got in each other's face, and
Can I ask you a
she's
question?
really cool, and it was like, of all the fights that night, to watch her fight, like I felt something when I watched her fight, and I was like, man, I want to get in there. Like it was just like,
Did you in I'm only doing this as an investigative journalist now. Did you in a recent interview say that Pearl Gonzalez is an easy fight?
No.
Okay, then it's not you.
We're trying to figure this out.
I know who it is.
You know who it is? Tell us who it is.
No, I can't.
Why not?
Well,
it was
No,
it-
it suck
it's
all
out
the
there.
fun out of
yeah, it was in an interview, right? She
I'll
said it.
say that the only thing I've ever said about Pearl Gonzalez was like, you know, her first fight, like I expected like something more, but that was also the case with the Jade fight and Crystal Pittman. But I thought their fight was fucking badass, like it was a good fight, and I thought Pearl Gonzalez's fight was a great fight. Definitely more so with the Pearl. Like I thought Pearl, I don't know, it was just, but it's one of those things. Like she did what worked for her in the fight, and she was super technical and fit. Like she won the fight the way that she did for a reason.
Did the person that called her an easy fight at Knucklemania?
Maybe.
So my guess was right. Is that what you're telling me?
But
I didn't know what your guess was.
his
Well,
guess-
I meant
his
to
guess is
Kyle.
Britton
Sorry,
Hart.
Britton
So,
Hart.
but Britton was in the comments of Pearl's thing that she posted saying, "I didn't say it, but I would love to know who did." Is she playing?
Ooh,
Britton?
then I don't know.
Oh, she gave it away.
God damn it, man!
It
So when
wasn't
are you
me.
fight- Okay,
I mean,
now-
maybe it was. Like maybe I mean she could have possibly took what I said and took it the wrong way. But I've never once been like Pearl Gonzalez is an easy fight and fuck her. And I don't talk a lot of shit like that. I do say like I've said like when I saw Pearl fight, I was there for that fight live. I guess maybe just because Teresa, like the way that me and Teresa fought, I thought
Crystal says hi.
that Teresa was gonna come out there fucking banging, and it was just very like, "Hi, Crystal." I saw like just I don't know, it just seemed very like I think Teresa was broken mentally in a way, and Pearl Gonzalez didn't know what to expect. So I think it was the fight that happened was like I just it was my first bare knuckle event, and I fought Teresa already, so I was thinking something crazy was gonna happen. So I think that was my take on it. Like I was like, I think it's gonna be wild. But Pearl Gonzalez, like she sold that show. She had like twerkers. Is that what they would be called? The dancers or whatever. She had like a really pretty cool walkout, and she like she soaked that whole moment up and in, and went out there and performed, and she won.
She did well.
She learned it from watching you.
I am not getting the twerk team out there. No.
Yeah. But you win the audience on the walkout, and then you fuck someone up in the ring.
You guys, I wish you could have seen my walkout. It was
Yeah,
about
we wish
to
too.
be so fire.
Yeah.
Have to save
I
it
have
for
the
another
picture,
day.
by the way.
Hey, he has the picture. Take a look at the zoomed out photo, and then I gave him the other one. I was looking at this, and I'm like, look at this, and then I noticed something down in the back corner. Mike, pull it up.
Oh, I didn't
Right.
realize you sent me another one.
Yeah. So if you look to the left of the girl that's falling on her face, do you guys see someone there? Like having a
Mr. Feldman.
yeah.
Yes.
And if you zoom in on it, you don't give a fuck what David's talking about. You're
Yeah.
like, you know what, boss? Just give me that bitch right there.
Yes.
I noticed that.
But I'm serious. Like I was on the like railing, where all the media and everything. Like I stood up and was on the rails, like watching her fight, screaming, cheering. Like it was a very cool moment.
All right.
It's
Well,
cool
She
to be
was
there
on
and
point
just-
that night.
she
Huh?
was.
Yeah, it was great. It was great. It was something I can't describe. It was like I want to be in there
Yeah.
right now. And
I bet.
she's doing a great job, and it's cool to get and like to sit and watch her when she's been here. It was just a lot. It was a really cool moment.
How was commentating live like that? Like that was a last minute decision, right? Because I mean, you were gonna fight, so obviously you weren't gonna commentate, right?
I didn't want to at first because I was really pissed off. Like this was in the midst of me like flipping out. I walked out of the room maybe for 1 second. David Feldman brought me back and he said, "Hey, like I want you to know I'm gonna pay you, but all I ask is that you come and commentate the women's fight, Jade and Crystal." And I'm like, I looked at him and I said, "No, I don't want to be at the fights. I don't want to commentate anybody's fights." Like I was just being like a brat because I was in a bad mood. Everything had just happened. I just
Need a
wanted to,
couple
like,
hours.
I wanted to be alone. But I finally was just like, okay. It was really fun. I love Sean Wheelock and Chris Lytle. Like they're family to me. And to get to go sit down next to them and put the headset on, I just looked at him and was like, "Hey guys." Like I was really nervous, and it was hard because like you have a screen in front of you that's got the fight going on, and then they're in front of you, and like I wanted to watch the live fight,
Mm-hmm.
but with all the things going on, it's hard to like really I wear glasses too usually, so I'm like looking, then I'm looking at the screen, like trying to figure it out, and I get very nervous. I knew it was live, so I was like, okay, anything that comes out of my mouth right now is just gonna be on.
Can't take it back. No take backsies.
So I think there was a couple times where I was just tripped up because I was like, do I talk right now or am I gonna interrupt somebody or like? But it was cool. I love the bare knuckle fan. They took really good care of me, and they dealt with me being a lunatic all weekend. It was funny just having everybody like, whoa, we've never seen Taylor like that.
You had never commentated before anything? How'd you do?
I feel like I have. I did. I've commentated like amateur fights here in North Carolina, but that's not so much pressure.
Right, but at least you had sat down with a headset and a microphone by a ring and actually done something like that before. So
yeah,
it's not like it was the first time you ever commentated anything ever. Was when
not
David
with Chris
Feldman
Lytle and Sean Wheelock.
Yeah, when David Feldman said you don't have a choice, get out there and fucking commentate next to Lytle and Wheelock.
They really made me comfortable. Like Sean Wheelock and Chris are the bomb. So they were looking at me like, you're doing great.
Yeah, take a sip of this Diet Mountain Dew.
Yeah, see?
This will really get you going.
Yeah.
All right, so you got paid. You got a lot of spotlight on the weekend. Your star's even brighter now. When do we see you fight?
I actually was offered to fight. I haven't heard anything yet, so it's not like it's 100% set in stone. But November 6th in New York,
which is outstanding because Mike and Mish will be there.
I was hoping that was what you guys were going to say after I said New York.
Fuck yeah, it's right up in our neck of the woods, so that's great. And you cannot say who the opponent is yet, right?
Nope. I got a name. I didn't get a name that was like, this is who you're fighting, sign the contract, but they said, we want you to fight so-and-so. How do you feel about that? And I said, fuck yes. Bring it on, baby.
Well,
they haven't said anything since, so I've kind of been waiting to hear the word and what was going to happen.
We have guesses, but we're not going to say it because it'll get us canceled by the BKFC.
I don't want to get canceled by BKFC. I'm trying to be there for a long time.
We're not trying to get canceled. But okay, hey, so that's only how many weeks out? Is that? It's through
4 weeks.
3 weeks.
4 weeks. 3-4 weeks.
3-4
awesome.
Weeks.
So for all those guys, everybody out there that's in the comments and everything that wanted to see Taylor fight this past weekend, you don't have to wait that long if this comes to fruition. And if it doesn't, how about if you don't fight her, you fight Misfit in
Look at Evan.
like a month later.
Brothers.
Yeah, big brother's watching. Yeah. Do not get us canceled. Okay, let's just fucking not say it. But you said you had interest in fighting Christine, and Christine took 0 damage in that fight. I'm saying, like, if the November 6th one doesn't go through, or even if it does go through and you come out of there in as good a shape as you did against Cassie, maybe you and Misfit in Florida in December. Huh?
How does John Chalbeck sound?
Like if I don't fight in New York and not November 6th, and I like have to choose, like even if I could. The reason I want to fight November 6th is because 1, I'm already in shape. 2, I have work. Like I have a job outside of this that needs me during the holidays. So it's really hard for me. Like I need to structure my stuff around work. Like I don't just get to say like, yeah, I can fight whenever. It doesn't work that way for me. I'm still a human with a job. But I really like, if I had my choice to fight in Albuquerque, New Mexico, would be my dream because I lived most of my life in Albuquerque, New Mexico. And that's just like a home to me. And I got like the people I trained with out there, like just would be really cool. And
they have a space at Jackson Wink too that you could go.
Yeah.
Fulfill.
They just recently had an opening.
I'm ready to go now, so.
It's a recent opening.
Yeah. I don't know if you saw the news today, but Johnny Bones Jones is no longer with Jackson Wink. You can go grab his rack over there.
Wah.
Yeah, fuck him.
Everybody will be over it in a week and move on to the next scandal.
Yeah. Well, thanks for coming on. You want to do a quick speed round before we let you get out of here and ask some questions? Let's do this. Let's do some fun shit. You know what? And the first time you were ever on the show, you said WAP mac and cheese, and that's embedded into my brain for the rest of my life.
Oh my God.
WAP mac and cheese.
You said, I don't want none of that dry fucking boxed shit. I need that homemade WAP.
Do you guys know what a QT is?
What's a QT?
Like the gas station?
Yeah.
Okay, you know what
Yep.
the QT is. It's kind of like a Wawa. You know
Yeah.
what Wawa is?
Yep. Wow. There's a lot of them in like Pennsylvania and stuff.
Here we have the QT everywhere, the Quick Trip everywhere. They have that Wop mac and cheese, and it's so good.
Wow.
Yo, who is this
So-
person? Who is this person in the? Okay, before we
AO
do
fraud.
this,
We got a lot of these types of
who
characters.
is this
coming in.
person? Because this person says Taylor and I fought in the Saggio's
parking lot in Albuquerque. I have no idea who this is.
No, this AO fraud. There's a whole bunch of these. There's like Dickman, Dickelheimer, and all these freaking ridiculous names that people come in here with and talk all sorts of shit.
I don't even know who this is, but
I don't know either. It's whoever,
Nobody does. They're afraid to come forward with their real
whoever it
name.
is, she says she fought pregnant. And I fight while pregnant, so my baby doesn't grow up and be a wuss. I
that's
took
fun.
body shots to toughen up the
What?
fetus.
Jeez, this person's going in. I haven't even
yeah.
really reading the comments. I can't focus on them sometimes.
I don't know who this, but the last one really got my attention. That when she said that she fought you in the parking lot. And
I haven't fought in the parking lot of Saggio's, but Saggio's is a pizza place in Albuquerque. I fought in places in Albuquerque, but not in Saggio's parking lot. But they have good cheesecake.
So I call AO fraud's fucking fraud bullshit right
I've had
there.
so many trolls like the past week try to fuck with me, so I wouldn't be surprised if that's one of them.
I
Damn
think
trolls.
AO fraud could possibly be Rantine. Rantine Knuckle. Yeah. She got a piece of pizza, got outside, and fucked your ass up in the parking lot out there.
Not me.
All right. Well, let's get the speed round out of the way.
All
and
right.
let you get on your way. Number 1. Here we go. What's the most embarrassing thing that's ever happened to you?
You have to give me a second. The most embarrassing thing that's ever happened to me?
Yeah. You ever sneeze shit?
I've shit my pants like way more times than like.
Well, I think that's most adults.
But this was like, it was a weight cut thing. When I first was like an amateur and I first ever cut weight, and I like shit my pants. Yeah.
That's
pretty
At least it wasn't in the ring.
No.
Some people did that. You know what? Kane Tomlinson. Kane Tomlinson was the ref for the fight where the guy shit his pants. And I didn't know that till like a month ago. I was like, wait, he was the ref for that fight?
No, I
Do you remember
definitely
that?
make sure that I'm cleared out before I fight. But no, it was like right after I weighed in, I went and like ate as much as I fucking could. And then sure enough, it just ran his way right through my body with like no control. So yeah.
Not good.
I used to like to say that girls shit on the 25th hour of the day. I didn't like to believe it. No. Okay,
But I
number
remember
2.
just being mortified.
Mike.
In light of the Halloween coming up soon.
Favorite
horror movie?
I love Nightmare on Elm Street.
The first one? Or
The
all of
first
them?
one. Classic. Tom Cruise in a crop top.
Cruising a crop
Great
top.
movie.
All right. Name 3 people you can't stand.
What kind of fucking question is this?
Name it. Come on.
Tell
Taylor
me.
Swift. See, like this is gonna get me like
No, do it. Say it now.
no,
As soon as it pops in, you just go.
no. I like
Zero.
to like. I've already got people AO fraud on here like coming for me, and I've already been amped up enough the past week.
You'll never have as many enemies as Brandon
People I
Lambert.
can't
You just
stand.
keep throwing
Taylor
out those
Swift.
names.
My baby daddy. I can't think of anybody else.
What?
It's really hard for me.
Oh
There's,
my
I mean,
God.
there's definitely some
Oh,
people.
there's
but-
plenty of people.
Name someone in your
What
weight
about
class.
Dr. Phil? I
how about-
hate Dr. Phil. I just
name
want to punch
name
him so bad.
three people in the BKFC that you can't stand.
I'm not gonna do it.
And
All
go.
right, all right. Number 4, Mike.
What is the weirdest thing you've seen someone carry in their purse? It's a little lady secret here.
A dildo or a vibrator.
That's not weird.
That's not weird.
Listen, my wife sells them for a living. I think it's
No,
completely
I don't think
normal
so.
for somebody to have a
No, okay.
vibrator in their fucking
If I
purse.
say this one, my best friend's gonna kill me.
But, we
I'm
don't,
not gonna
but
say
now
her
we know
name.
who it is.
No, I'm not gonna say her name. You guys don't know who it is. She's
One day.
not in the fight scene or anything. My friend.
Narrowing it down.
Never mind. I'm not gonna say it. But it's
Say it.
very embarrassing. Dildo vibrator, and it's related to the sort. And she carries really weird stuff like that in her purse all the time. Sometimes she'll pull
Hey, but
something out, and I'm just like,
Sometimes you got to take a quick 15-minute break in your car.
yeah.
All right, last question. What's the meanest thing you've ever done to get back at someone? Stole the dildo out of their purse.
Yeah.
Took the batteries out.
I don't want to say. You guys are
Oh
gonna,
my
like,
God,
exposing me.
you're like you're not answering these questions. It's
Um,
breaking the rules.
Like mess with somebody's shampoo or their toothbrush.
Like put Nair in it so they lose their hair.
No.
Have you ever dropped an upper decker in somebody's house?
I'm
After a
not
hard weight
one
cut?
for upper decking anything.
After a hard weight cut, couldn't make it to the toilet. I had to use the.
I ripped the lid, the whole porcelain lid
Yeah.
off the top completely and just shit in it. No,
Oh man.
just messing with somebody's like shampoo or toothbrush.
Well, that was pretty lame. You didn't name your least favorite people in the BKFC.
You didn't out your friend for the weird
You
things that
know,
she's
yeah, you
carrying.
didn't out your friend, and you didn't tell the truth about the meanest thing you've ever done. So this was a
I
complete
told
failure.
you guys I shit my pants. What more could you ask?
All right,
me?
that is fine. That's something that we never needed to really know. Got your social media and your website at the bottom there. It's been ticking across the whole time. We'll give you a minute.
Oh wait! I know somebody I can't stand in BKFC.
Cool.
Randine Ekholm.
Hey.
You thought it was gonna be good, didn't you?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I thought maybe you were going to say someone that you might want to fight on November 6th. Never mind.
Yeah.
I'll let my hands do the talking.
All right. Shout out your sponsors. Say whatever you got to say. Hey, and shout out your new show. You got the Banana and the Bee. So go
The
ahead.
Banana and the Bee podcast. That's right. So if you guys have any tips for me on doing a podcast, please send them my way because it seems like every time I try to set up my computer and my microphone and everything just goes to shit. And then I end up sitting there with my cell phone and my hoodie just like. But I'm working hard to like get better at it. Dave's really good at it. I suck. But the Banana and the Bee podcast, it's on Instagram, YouTube. It's about to be out on Apple Podcasts too. Kendra Lust, Karma Coin, Natural Heal Me CBD, Carolina CBD, Warpath Clothing, Girl Gang, Wraps. If I'm missing anybody, I'm so sorry, but I don't think I am. And thank you to all the fans and everybody. This ride is a whirlwind, but can't do it without you. And I love putting on a show for you guys. And that's why I'm so upset because I didn't get to give the fans what they wanted. Thank you guys for having me here. It means a lot to me. And I really enjoy talking to you guys. Like, you guys are awesome. And I'm sorry to answer your questions.
No, that's cool, man. You're always a good
We're gonna get you on the
interviewer.
next one.
Yeah.
We're we're
In New York, actually.
We're
Face
easy.
to face, it's harder
one
not
of
to
those
answer
people
questions.
that just like I don't care about saying it. I just don't like dealing with the fucking backlash drama on the internet. I have enough. Like as you saw, someone's on the thing. Like I have people all the time coming for my throat. Like the last thing I need to do is go argue with some of these flyweights on fucking Instagram when I would much rather punch them in the face in person and tell them in person that I don't like them.
All right, there she
These
is.
rat bastards.
These
What are they doing?
These fucking stunads over here.
I know.
Trying to
Come
get
over
up-
here. Let me give you one of these, huh? Stunada. Boom. Right there on the
Yeah,
kisser.
that's us
How
doing
you like
the
that? Pow.
pizza.
Right in the kisser.
There you go.
All right, hey, we'll see you November 6th.
Absolutely. I'll see
Get
you
a
guys
contract and get it signed, and we'll see you fight then. All right.
Yeah. We'll
Bye,
go get a
guys.
gabagool sandwich or something.
Thanks for coming on.
soon. Bye, guys.
Later.
See ya. Bye. All right. That was the Killa Bee, Taylor Starling, who did not fight last weekend, but she's still awesome, and she had a great weekend to make up for the fact that she did not fight. She stayed very busy that weekend. She got paid by the BKFC, which I think is super fucking cool. They gave her an opportunity to commentate on the event, so people didn't get to see her fight, but they still got to get to know her personality a little bit, and she got to show up a little bit. And she was in the ring afterwards, taking photos and all that stuff. So she didn't
Made
even
the best
fight.
of it.
She didn't even fight, but she still gained with the company. So good for her, man. Thank you for coming on as always, Taylor. Check out her show, The Banana and the Bee. And I think they film every Monday, and they release their episodes at 10 a.m. on YouTube on Tuesdays, if I'm correct. If I'm not, she can fucking let you know. We have one more guest for the evening. He is a veteran in the MMA world, but he made his BKFC debut at BKFC 20 against Kevin Benson, and he was victorious in the second round with second round TKO. Finish him. His name is Cody Land, and he is locked and loaded. What's going on, sir?
What's up, guys?
Yo.
What's happening, man? Thanks for coming on the show tonight.
Yeah, appreciate you guys having me.
Yeah. So, what's up, and how are you feeling after your victory in BKFC? You've had a lot of MMA fights in your past. You went in there, you fought in a higher weight class than you had in your MMA career. No gloves. Did you fight somebody that you were friends with? They kept saying, I think they kept saying you guys were friends.
Right.
Yeah. So
how much of friends were you?
He runs a local gym here. He's actually cornered me. I took a last minute ESPN boxing match, and so he cornered me. We're cool, man. I got love for the kid, but I wanted a contract. You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah.
It is what it is. It's business. I was in the matchmakers DMs right when this shit got legalized. So I was trying to fight back in 2000. What was it? 18?
Yeah. 2018. Wow.
Yeah. So I was trying to get on some cards, and then it just didn't work out. I had some health shit pop up. So just fighting didn't work out for a couple of years.
Injuries?
I actually have Hashimoto's, so I have hypothyroidism. So that's the reason I'm fighting up a weight class compared to what I did. So my thyroid doesn't fucking work. So
did you get on some like thyroid? So I had gotten back from a deployment. Now I was 218 pounds. I was bigger and stronger than I'd ever been in my life, coming back from a deployment. And the doctor fucking tells me that I have like some thyroid thing where my body wasn't creating enough growth hormone or something like that, which got me excited because I was like, oh, I'm like, you gonna put me on HGH? Yeah. And they're like, no, we're not gonna give you HGH. We're gonna give you this pill that's gonna fucking regulate your thyroid, but you can't eat like grapefruit and certain foods while you're on it. Did you get put on something like that?
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, it's a Synthroid. Yeah, so
yeah,
for real. If I'm not taking the medicine, man, I'm blowing the fuck up. I'm 5'5", and I was like 220 in January.
Holy shit.
Yeah, bro, it was bad. I'm actually a personal trainer, so it's even worse. You know what I mean? You're a personal trainer trying to look good, present what you put people through, and it was a nice little trip. A lot of it was just I think stress, and just we had COVID going on. You know what I mean? There was just a lot going on. I did everything that anybody can do in 2020. I got married. I had a baby, bought a house, bought a brand new car. I just let's stress myself the fuck out.
Nice.
And I think that didn't help it at all either. So
it's fun. It's a lot of fun when you do that all at once, you know?
Yeah.
Man,
yeah.
So
you get it all over with at one time. You know, you don't have to spread it out over a few years. Exactly. You just get it all over with. And when you threw it, You're like, hey, I'm done. Exactly. Now I can enjoy.
So you fought in, what was that? September? You fought in September at 155 pounds. And you were 220 in January?
Right. Yeah.
So you lost, if my math is correct, Mike, 65 pounds. Is that good math?
Hold on. Let's carry the one.
Is it 65?
I don't know. What is it?
Is it, dude? So what was that like having you are a personal trainer, so I know you know the nutrition side of the game and how to lose the weight, but was dropping 65, 70 pounds quite a fucking task for you, or what?
Yeah. So I actually have all the certifications for nutrition and personal training and all that stuff, obviously. But I actually hired out someone. His name's Brandon. He works for a company called Tailored Coaching Method. And typically he works with bodybuilders and stuff like that, I'm sure. And then on top of that, general population. But I actually hired out just because I was like, fuck it, dude, this thyroid stuff, I don't know what I'm doing. And it with him, man, it just made it simple. Just worked my ass off, hit my numbers and everything that he wanted and asked of me, and it came off pretty quick, actually. So, and then obviously medication and helping me that way too, so that helped as well.
That's crazy, man. I know. I'm I don't even think I had this shit. Honest to God, Maybe that, like, I came back, I went overseas at 195 and came back almost 220, and they were like, "You must be bloated from fucking thyroid something or other. Here's some pills."
Yeah.
I don't take that shit no more. But let's talk about fighting, dude. Let's talk about fighting. You got your first taste of the bare knuckle world. You said you wanted to get in there in 2018, and it took and you ran through roadblocks and all the life things that you did. But you finally got in there. What was it like getting into the squared circle in the BKFC as opposed to like your past, MMA and boxing?
So here's the thing, man. For me, and not to sound like super philosophical or anything, but a little bit of it was the reason that I wanted to do it was just I think that fear is a prerequisite for like success. You know what I mean? Like everything that's like scary and got a lot going on with it can bring you success. Just jump. You know what I mean? And a lot of that was that part of the reason that I wanted to do it. And then I don't know, man. It was a trip. It's definitely different. I did strictly MMA. I don't have a wrestling background. I don't have a jiu-jitsu background. Like I didn't do anything. Like I got a ton of street fights growing up, and more or less took my first amateur MMA fight as a dare, just because my buddies were like, "Hey, dude, you should do this. You like to fist fight?" And yeah, I mean it was awesome. I can't say good enough things of how I got treated by BKFC too. It was legit, man. I'm in. So.
Oh yeah. Sounds like
And
an
you
awesome time.
and you didn't take any damage, or you didn't hurt your hand, you didn't injure your hands or anything like that during the fight? Like, are you good to go? Like, if they gave you a call right now?
Yeah, we've actually been chatting. I told him, I told him they talked about the New York card. I am gonna fight 145. I need a minute. I'm fucking 5'5", man. I don't have any business fighting 155. Like if you guys looked at my record, I've fought 125 before. I have no business in there fighting 155. It was just kind of I went to tryouts and they were like, "Hey, here's a spot," and like I said, I got love for TJ, but we both were there for a contract. We both want to fight. And that's 155 was doable for me. So that's what I did. But yeah, 145 here on it.
Couple of shots there. 145's got some guys, man. I mean, it's weird. The 145 division was like a stacked division for a minute. And then they all disappeared. Like Jason Knight left. Artem Lobov left. Paulie Malignaggi's gone. Jim Ehlers is gone. Like all of a sudden there's really not too many people. The one guy that pops in my head that does draw attention from everybody is John Lee Chalbeck, and I know he's coming off of a broken hand. That's a guy that, if you want to make your way in the 145 division, that's the dude that you'd want to go after, and that'd be a hell of a fight right there.
Yeah, he's a bad man. I watched one of his fights. Yeah, he's a bad dude. I actually just friended him on Facebook. I'm kind of a fan too.
Did you see his fight with Pellerano? Was that the last one, the one that he ended up losing the decision?
I don't think so. I think it was because he's
the Knucklemania.
Greg Bono.
Yeah, it might have been his first. It might have been his BKFC. Did he fought on Knucklemania, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the one I watched.
That's the one. Yeah, he fought a guy named Adam Pellerano at BKFC 20, Mike.
Yeah.
BKFC 20 down in Biloxi. And I'll tell you right now, it was almost like he had no business even being in there with Adam Pellerano if you just looked at them with size alone. Pellerano weighed in at 155 and walked in the next day at probably 175, 180. He was
he looked huge.
He was jacked out of his mind.
Reminded me of Mike Tyson's Punch Out.
Yeah, that's what he said. It reminded you of Little Mac fighting like Piston Honda in the fucking but Chalbeck weighed in at 153 and then walked in Fight Night 151. And pieced this dude up. And like, no offense to Adam Pellerano, that dude didn't win that fight. There's no way in hell he won that fight. If you go back and watch it, you should go back and watch it tonight, man. You'll love it.
97 out of 100 people think that Chalbeck won.
Yeah.
now
I
that
believe that. I remember watching that and being like, what the
And
fuck?
one of them was Pellerano, and the other two were the two judges. That
Yeah. So you want to get back in there. You enjoyed your time in the squared circle. You had been in street fights, so you know what it's like to get hit with a bare hand, and you know what it's like to hit somebody with a bare hand. So what that wasn't new to you. Did anything about the sport surprise you? Maybe like the pace, the length of the rounds, the ropes, like anything about it, like surprise you once you were in there?
The ropes a little bit. There's a lot less bounce than what I thought. It's not like boxing ropes. More
like bars.
Feels like welded ass chain links. But yeah, man, the pace was awesome. I can hang with that. The way the fight went. Yeah, I mean, I was surprised that I got 7 stitches or 6 stitches. That was surprised that I like an overhand or something. I got a little carried away. Throwing hooks or something when I had him pinned against the ropes, but it's the fight game. So
that was right before you kind of like you became like a bull, and you kind of ran into him and he hit like the corner. Well, I call it the corner, but it's really like a post because there's no corner in the ring. But he kind of hit it and fell. And when he fell, he like looked up at you like, really, man? What the fuck?
I actually, I feel like as stepping away from like the fight, I kind of feel bad because I shoved his ass down. But we were in the heat of the moment, and we're in the middle of the fight. But I remember him. He was arguing with the ref, and I'll give him this. It wasn't a knockdown, but it looked like one when he put me down. I slipped. I just got my feet weren't under me. That was like emotion right there when I shoved him to the ground. But yeah, his tall ass was like on his knees or something. I shoved him, and that's what that look was. And like in the video clip, you can see me like my hand, and I was like, my bad, dude, get up or something like that. So, but yeah, man, it was good. It was I'm a big fan now, even now participating. So
yeah, the things that I asked you were like the most common things people say, like the immediate shot out of a cannon pace as soon as they say knuckle up and you're 3 feet away from each other. It's not like regular boxing where a lot of guys will sit back and try to like counter punch. Everyone's usually going forward and bare knuckle trying to get it over as fast as possible. They say that the length of the rounds only being 2 kind of surprises you because the round starts and then it's over before you even fucking know it. You're like, holy shit, it's already over. The first round's already over. And then the ropes, they always say that the ropes feel like you're fucking getting slammed into a metal bar. So pretty much you hit the nail on the head for all of those. Did you serve in the military?
No, I didn't.
No. All right. Somebody was asking in the comments section here. So if you don't get on that November 6th card and like, let me ask, I just wanted to ask you this. Would 135 be out of the question for you?
I mean,
I'm only asking because the 135 division, you're 5'5". That 135 division is by far the most intriguing division in all of beer. If you ask me, there's like a murderer's row from like 1 to 6, and a guy with all the MMA experience that you have, you came in here, you look good in your debut. And you say that you were that's way out of your range for weight. 135, that could be very interesting. If they offered you something down there, would you take that?
Yeah, I mean, I would have to, like I said, the thyroid stuff kind of screws me out of a lot of fights. Like I told you, I used to fight 125, which was dumb anyways. I shouldn't have been fighting 125. But 135 was a really good spot for me in my MMA career. If my health is there, that's the biggest thing with the thyroid stuff. If I can make 135, well, it is what it is. But right now I'm going to focus on 145, and who knows, maybe I'll just work my way down, depending on what what happens, I guess.
So there's a question. Shelby Joe Jenkins asks, who does he want to fight next? If you could pick one person, say, I want to, that's the guy. That's who I'm going after. Who is it? Who is it?
I mean, with me just being new, I don't really have a name per se.
No call outs yet.
No, not yet. There was some young kid that did well on the Montana card. He's 145. And I'm not calling anybody out, man. I'm gonna put my head down and just keep moving forward, and whatever they see fit for 145. And I'll get after it and treat it the same. I don't really have any names for sure. It's a lot different, man. You get these dudes, when you start your MMA career, you're fighting somebody 0-0 or whatever, but I got 50 fights before this. So my 0-0 is a lot different than
Right.
somebody else. You know what I mean? Like, and that's not street fights. That's like I've got over 20 professional MMA fights. So, it's a little different, but
Absolutely, yeah. You're used to being under the lights. Like honest to God, they call you a debuter, but you're not really a debuter. You've been out in front of a crowd under the spotlight before, so you know how to control your nerves, and and keep your poise in the ring. Are you a fan? Are you obviously you're a fan of bare knuckle, but are you still a fan of like all combat sports? Do you pay attention to everything, or are you like focused on yourself?
I don't watch a lot of boxing unless it's Bud Crawford. Obviously, he's an Omaha guy. Other than that, I don't watch boxing. But
what about that Tyson Fury fight the other night?
I missed it. I was watching the Montana card. So,
well, you timed it wrong, Cody, because the Montana card ended, and about 40 minutes later, Tyson and Wilder, or maybe a half an hour later, they were making the walk to the ring. So you could have timed it right,
It was
like
awesome.
us losers did.
Mm-hmm.
Like us, no life having motherfuckers.
Hey, it was awesome. Watch it.
The highlights. It looked great.
My goodness,
I love
man.
MMA, though. I watched a little bit. We got a few Omaha guys in the UFC right now. I've been like, shout out to all my teammates, man. I got a handful of amateurs that I work with too. At our gym, and they're actually competing in a national Muay Thai tournament this weekend. Our gym is predominantly a Muay Thai gym at Mick Doyle's gym, and like Mick himself used to bare knuckle box when he was like 15 to 18. He is from Ireland originally, and we have like the most national Muay Thai champions probably in the U.S. I would say. So
from Omaha,
and we got dudes fighting that weigh in tomorrow night, and they're doing a national tournament in Des Moines, Iowa. So
outstanding.
So I've been keeping up with that for sure.
I wanted to ask you, first of all, how is your mother? Because I read something online that's the night of the weigh-ins, there was an issue and you had to fight after this. It's crazy. I read it. I was like, wow, that's a pretty tough event to go through.
Yeah, man. So I got a phone call from my older brother. She actually was incapacitated, whatever you want to say. And she was life flighted from Gothenburg, Nebraska, which is close to my hometown. And she was getting in a helicopter flown to the Heart Health Institute in Lincoln. She had a heart attack, and then she ended up having to have a triple bypass.
Jeez.
Yeah, dude, it was some heavy shit. I called my wife and I was crying. Right after weigh-ins, like I kept my cool, didn't let anybody know what was up. My wife was the only one that knew what was going on, obviously, besides my brothers. And dude, heavy shit to deal with. And I talked to my mom like super late that night when she had woke up, and they kind of got her vitals and everything situated. And she was talking shit to me, asked if I made weight. And I told her, like, you really don't want me. She keeps telling me that I need to retire. I got obviously I told you guys, new wife and all that good stuff. And we have a baby boy.
Yeah.
And she was like, you got kids and shit, you need to retire. So I was like giving her shit, you know, you really don't want me to be fighting over here trying to have a heart attack and shit while I'm at weigh-ins. But she's good, man. She's really she had a triple bypass and she's feeling good. So it was awesome.
That's your wife there?
Yeah,
your mom doesn't know that you're bare knuckle fighting?
She thought it was an
Surprise.
MMA fight. So everybody keep that on the DL. My mom doesn't have social media, so nobody tell my mom that it's bare knuckle.
Jesus, that's funny.
Well, I read that you got your grit from her, you know, that she's a tough woman.
Yeah, she's super tough. So
and she's doing much better now.
Yeah, definitely. Like my stepdaughter, she was always like, she's always like, grandma's always really nice. And I was like, that's because she's older now and soft and all of us are raised. But yeah, I would say I probably get my toughness from my mom. My dad would be the one that was like, you need to tell the teacher that this kid's starting shit with you and trying to fist fight you. And my mom would tell me, make sure you're off school grounds and straighten that kid out.
That's funny. It's usually the opposite way. That's
the
complete opposite of my family. Wow. Well, it's good to hear that your mom is doing better. That's crazy. That's a crazy thing to go through.
Yeah.
The night of your weigh-ins and then you have to fight the next day. Jeez.
Super heavy stuff to deal with and then fight.
And you said that when you talked to her that night, she had they already did the surgery?
No, so they had put her on like a life support machine and like that would essentially make her heart beat for her. And
she was able to talk.
Yeah, she was on like a machine. Yeah. It's wild.
She's on a machine being kept alive by a machine until they do the surgery and she's talking shit to you.
Yeah. First thing, I shit you not, first thing out of her mouth. So they had to do tubes so she could breathe too and stuff during the surgery. And the nurse was getting ready to shift change and she said to the guy, he was like, this is blah blah blah, she's gonna be taking care of you. And she's like, well, hopefully she gives me ice cubes better than you since my throat's sore from the ventilator machine. So like right after surgery, already talking some shit. So
jeez.
So yeah, mom's a badass, and I feel like all of us kind of got that from her.
That's great, man.
Yeah.
Well, we're gonna throw your sponsors up at the bottom here, and we're gonna do a speed round with Cody Land, so our audience can hear what you got to say on certain questions. You caught the Taylor Starling one there. A lot of poop talk with Taylor.
Yeah.
She surprised me with that one, but and hey, before we do the speed round, did you happen to hear anything that we talked about with Christian Roberts at the beginning?
I watched a little bit of it.
What do you think about that? How would your family feel about you fighting in an 8x8 hay bale pit? What do you think of that thing?
I mean, I'm pro BKFC, obviously. But yeah, that shit's wild. Watching some of the clips that you guys put up, that's crazy. Yeah. Like
it's just nuts. It really is like the movie Snatch, basically. You remember?
I have not seen that. I'm gonna have to watch.
Oh my god, you have homework to do.
Watch that movie.
Phenomenal.
It's a Guy Ritchie film. You have to see this movie. It's very good. It's directed very well. It's
got Jason Statham and Brad Pitt in it. It's about it's about a diamond, gambling, and bare knuckle fighting. It's fucking awesome.
It's crazy. It's like a movie where there's like, I don't know, what is there, like 6 or 7 main characters or like groups of main characters. In the movie, they're all kind of like intertwining, like they're, it doesn't just follow like one main character or something through a story. It's all of their stories and they're all kind of going after the diamond and all their paths cross in one way or another. It's really good.
And I'm going to just say this right now. Brad Pitt's character, Mickey, would smoke. He would smoke every single person in the BKFC, no matter what their weight class is.
Oh yeah, no matter what.
All right, let's do a speed round with Cody Lamb before we let him get out of here. Here we go. Speed round number 1. What is one thing you pretend to hate when you're in front of others?
Oh.
Justin Bieber music.
I could probably some Taylor Swift. I can get down with some Taylor Swift.
Ew, I hate this song, Taylor
Yeah.
Swift. I can never, ever, ever. I hate that song. 20 minutes later,
You're in your car.
back together, yeah.
That shit is funny, man. Yeah, it would definitely be some sort of musical thing, right?
I can tell
probably
you.
pop in general. Like
I can tell you what mine is, right? And now everyone's gonna know. But sometimes I kind of like the Real Housewives shows. I'm not gonna lie, because like my wife is constantly watching Bravo, and like I do get mad, and sometimes she gets mad at me when we're watching it because I can't like sit back and just watch it because I'll be looking at my phone or doing something, and they'll do something stupid, and I'll be like, why would she do that? I don't understand why she would do that, like. And then she's like, "You're watching this," and I was like, "I've been watching the whole time. I'm so into this right now. Like I can't. It pulled me in."
Hey man,
Yeah.
I can get down with some 90 Day Fiance.
Oh, that's like my father-in-law. You would never guess, but he loves that show.
No shit.
Yeah,
Wow.
Big Steve.
All right, number 2.
Do you like pumpkin spice?
I'm a caramel guy, man.
I love caramel. What about caramel pumpkin?
Oh
I'm
God.
I'm gonna have to check that out.
Mike
gonna
loves,
check it out.
With that, then.
Mike loves this goddamn pumpkin spice, man. I'm
Yeah.
telling you. Number 3. What is something that you did and then instantly regretted it?
Probably fighting 125.
Oh.
Taking fights at 125.
You know what? Hey, real quick, Ian just brought up a good point. Taylor Swift has a house like less than 10 minutes from where I live right now. She's right down the street.
Yeah.
But but Ian says she lives like she's our neighbor, but that girl's at that.
We're not
house,
allowed in
like
her neighborhood.
6 days a year. You know what I mean? So 125 pounds, what? Just the weight? I mean, like, are you
Brutal,
just
man.
You're just a
Brutal
big.
weight cut.
At 5'5", you're just a big dude.
Yeah,
for your height.
I don't know about a big dude, but yeah, man, 125 is terrible. Bad cuts, a lot of like too much water cut.
I like the Volkanovski of bare knuckle.
Yeah, I mean that
220 to what?
Those 125s were brutal.
I can't even imagine, man. You know what the Army saw? Like, I'm not a tall guy. I'm 5'9" with my shoes off. But I walk around 200 pounds. I put on a lot of size over my years in the military. I was a gym rat for a long time. At one point, like I said, I was like 218. The fucking Army's like, you're considered obese. You need to drop to 181 or something like that. And I'm like, that's never going to happen in the history of ever. So you guys can fuck off. You know what I mean? Just keep taping me, checking my body fat index, and I will just keep passing that, but I will never be 181 pounds ever. So peace out.
Yeah, no. Yeah. Definitely.
Not all about that noise. Number 4, Mike.
What wastes the most time in your day-to-day life?
Oh man,
what do you do?
I'm working on a home gym, just so I can be home with the family, but also get in some workouts like heavy bag, all that stuff. We got a shed in our backyard of our home, and dude, drywall is a motherfucker.
I hate drywall, dude.
Drywall is kicking my ass. I got one more wall to finish up finally, and put insulation up, and then I'm done. And that right now specifically is totally taking up my day to day when I'm not with clients and stuff at the gym.
Well, I would have to say that you're doing something good there, and that's not a waste of time. But I think your wife has a better idea of what your answer should have been. Pokemon Go. Don't lie.
Right. Yeah. I did that all fight camp. So my wife has only had one fight camp with me. I did an MMA fight when we first met. And I don't know about other fighters, but I always try and find myself fixating on something else other than fight shit. So like if I wouldn't have done some Pokemon Go or anything, this whole fight camp that I did to get ready for TJ, I would have been watching like BKFC replays all day and like shadow boxing in the shower and like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like
hyper focus.
I gotta ask
you. Find some
what
random shit to focus on.
Am I a fucking weirdo because I don't? What is Pokemon Go? What is that? I know what Pokemon is.
It's a game where you can play like everywhere. It's like a worldwide game. You can play with people. You catch Pokemon, fight each other, fight people, fight computer, whatever.
Yeah.
You collect them and then you fight them.
Is
You
that
take
like,
over gyms and you take over you all sorts of shit.
Like
I
everybody
never
was
played
walking
before.
around. Is it like you walk around and you look for them on your phone?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I know what it is.
Yeah, so my stepdaughter and I would go on walks, and that's part of. I mean, shit, man, my
Team
stepdaughter
Valor.
lose some weight.
What is
Yes.
it? See, okay. Well, I mean, we need to trade a code then, I guess, huh?
All
I haven't
all
played for a little while,
I
but
use that as part of my weight loss, like getting them steps up, and that helps.
What is geocaching? Caching?
oh, geocache. Have you ever done that?
No, I have
Is
no.
Cody?
that similar?
Oh, all right. So check this out. Everybody too in the comments, whether you have kids or you don't, you like to hike. I saw that you like to hike, Cody.
Yeah.
Yep. So what geocache is, you can pay for it or it's free. The free version, you don't get as many caches as they call it. So you go on, get the app, geocache, geocache, geocache. You go on there, you get your map, and there'll be like different caches that people hide, and you can use your phone like as a compass and kind of to find where the cache is. So it can be anywhere. And like I said, the paid version, there's more stuff. Some it's just one thing. You go and you find it. It could be like one time I went to a city park. And we went in the woods. We probably went a half a mile into the woods. And it's like sometimes they give you hints where it is. And it's kind of like a treasure hunt. You find it. And it was actually an ammo can, like an army ammo can. We pulled it out of the ground. You open it. And people like leave like notes in there. Like sometimes there's a notebook. You can sign your name on it that you went there. And on the app, you can mark that you found it. And then some people leave things behind, like something simple. You could have a little army man because we're in the army. So maybe we take like a little army man and we leave it in the box. It's fun to do with kids. It's fun to do if you want to just go hiking and have something to do, but some of them are puzzles to get you to know what the next coordinates are of the next box. So there might be a cache that has 5 steps to it. And the first one that you find has like a Sudoku puzzle, and you have to figure out the Sudoku puzzle, and the numbers that are circled are the next coordinates, and you have to type it in and then go to that coordinate. It's a pretty fun thing to do, to be honest. And
I just thought of something.
It is good. It's fun.
Listen to this. A horror movie where you have to use geocaching to find body parts of the fucking victims that the guy kills. What do you think of that?
Whoa.
And I'll like put
like Saw meets.
Put a hand in an ammo can, and Mike can find it in the fucking woods somewhere.
Yeah. It's fun to do, especially with
we
kids.
Might be onto something. We should probably like figure out a way to get a movie going.
Let's do it.
All right, last question. Here
I'm
we
just
go.
a regular Christopher Moltisanti.
If you could eat only one thing for a year, what would it be?
Sirloin steak. I am
Every
a
day.
Nebraska boy. We like beef here, man.
Just steak all day, every day.
All day,
there it is. Well, you guys got to know who Cody Land is. If you didn't know already, he is 1-0 in the BKFC. Thank you for coming on the show tonight. But this is the time we put your sponsors at the bottom there. You go ahead, shout out whoever you want to shout out, call out whoever you want to call out, and then you come back on the show when you get a little closer to your next fight. Go ahead.
Awesome. Appreciate it, guys. I just want to thank Dynasty Concrete, Kincaid Brewing Company, CowieBrand.com, KiltmanKilts.com. Appreciate you guys having me on.
Kilts?
Yeah,
like
kilts. So I'm going to be.
You have kilts?
Next weigh-ins. Next weigh-ins, I'm going to be in a kilt. So
are you Scottish? Is it?
No, I'm Irish, but
Irish.
My head coach and stuff, he was like, we need to have you rocking a kilt at weigh-ins. So
you can have somebody playing the bagpipes.
I should. That'd be badass.
That's fucking badass, dude. Well, thank you very much for coming on the show tonight. You got anything else for him, Mike?
No, I'm good, man. Thanks for coming on. Thanks for getting in touch. And like Kyle said, when you hear who you're fighting and when you're fighting, we get you back on here to talk about it.
Awesome.
Get the word out.
It, guys.
All right, brother. Thank you for coming on.
Yeah, thanks.
Bye.
Take care.
All right, Mikey. That was another great show. 3 great guests.
Yes, sir.
Awesome. I like that dude, man. I didn't know him too much other than, watching some of his highlights from his fights and then watching him make his debut in BKFC. But pretty awesome dude. Planet Hank says, "What's what's up,
you
touch
two?
hole? What's up, you
Touch holes.
What's up, you touch holes?"
When I read it in the comments a minute ago, I thought he said touche holes. I was like, touche holes,
because
like
you can't.
touche.
It's because you went to the school for kids that can't really read.
Touche.
Good. Yeah, dude. So everybody,
I went to the school of ants.
School for ants.
What is this? A school for ants?
Thank you guys for tuning in tonight. Thank you to Christian Roberts of Spartan Bare Knuckle Fight Club for coming through, talking a little bit about his company. Pretty badass concept. I like the fact that he's going into business with Mark Godbeard, and he's going to let Mark Godbeard do his fucking thing with a ring, and Christian's going to stick to his hay bales.
Yeah,
pit fighting. That's badass. Thank you to Taylor Starling for coming on. As always, she's a great guest. It's too bad about her fucking weekend, but like I said, she kind of come out smelling like roses anyway. She got a lot of spotlight, and I feel like fucking people like her more now than before. So good for her. And thank you to Cody Land for coming on the show, getting to know us a little bit, and we can't wait to see him fight. We have a big show tomorrow night, another one. Just another one. Fucking
another show.
Just another show. We got Charissa Sagala. We got Mark the Shark Irwin, and then we got one half of the co-main event from BKFC Wichita. J. Action Jackson will be on tomorrow night. He'll be half of the co-main, so good for him, man. He made his debut a couple events ago. Got an awesome knockout. Third round knockout after a back and forth scrap with his opponent, and he now finds himself in a co-main event just a couple events later. You know what I mean?
Yes, sir. I mean, he had an awesome fight. His fight I loved. I've said it before, so no need to say it again. Go through it, but good for Jay Jackson. Good buddy of ours. We've talked to him a few times now, so.
Yeah.
Can't wait to see him fight again.
Yeah. So with that said, thank you guys for all tuning in tonight, and we'll see you guys tomorrow night. All right.
Peace.
Motherfucker. Okay. Peace.